Hi, this is Kirsten from two different channels I'm recording for, from the Three Moons Rabbitry and my former pigeon loft. But that pile of debris there, that was my flight cage. It's in the process of being taken apart, so it currently looks like even more of a mess than normal. That's the rest of my backyard. I live in suburbia. And I was so delighted to have pigeons because I can't have inside birds because my husband is very, very allergic to feather dander. We found that out after I'd owned a parrot for a while, whom we had to rehome because it wasn't fair for him to have to be locked up in one room with all the air purifiers running. And it wasn't fair to my husband to be sick all the time. So when we moved here, where I could have pigeons, I got racing pigeons because I love pigeons and I love the history. I also got rabbits. I still have rabbits. I don't have as many rabbits as I used to, and I don't have any pigeons. And the reason is because my husband's allergies got worse. At first he could handle it since they were outside with all this fresh air and sunshine stuff. And he could handle at least, doing emergency food and water. He couldn't handle the birds, but if I was sick or I needed to go out of town or something, he could at least, feed and water them. And then his allergies got worse, and he had to wear full respirator and change his clothes, wear a Tyvek painter suit, basically. And that's not fair to anybody. And my health was getting worse, which meant that I could not take the birds out to train, which basically meant that for their sake, since they were really good bloodlines of racing pigeons, I had to find them homes with people that were going to be able to let them fly, take care of them, not have to worry. And I'd already started that before the most recent problems. And then I was already cutting the number of rabbits down that I had. Rabbits are kind of like Pokemon. Got to catch them all. It's very tempting, especially when you have all the different colors available, and I love rabbits. Anyway, I was already cutting the numbers down because my husband couldn't help me take care of them. He wanted to, but just walking out and filling some water bottles was wiping him out. And then we both got COVID again. And of course, since we're both pretty good about masking, I'm not going to say we're perfect. He caught COVID, as far as we know, at his doctor's office, which is where he had to take his mask off for all sorts of exams. It's as far as we know. And he brought it home, and I got it. We were both sick, and I recovered for the most part. I'm still a little more exhausted than I used to be. My husband, who already was suffering from what was never officially diagnosed, but was unofficially told by the doctor was probably long COVID, is now incapable of walking to the mailbox and back without being completely out of breath. Which means that during the time we had COVID, my husband was completely unable to help with the animals. And it was all I could do to go out and try to make sure everybody had water and pretty much throw food at them. Now, you'd think that when we recovered, that would go back to normal, but I was looking at this and going, I've got to get the numbers of rabbits down. I've already reluctantly concluded that I can't have any more pigeons. That hurt. But I realized I got to get the number of rabbits I'm keeping down to, I can take care of them when I'm sick by myself, or my husband can at least do the basics, and or one of our friends that would have to travel a bit could be hired to come here and just do some food and water while we're sick. And that meant cutting the number of rabbits down. And after looking at things over, I realized that I was already cutting down the numbers of my mini Rexes to just my favorite colors. Mini Rexes are just like my standard Rexes, except mini, which means they can stay in smaller housing and they eat less, and you'd think that would be great. The problem is I keep New Zealand's and standard Rex, and both of those are in the same size category. They're not quite the same size, but they're in the same ballpark. And the simple answer is that I can hand somebody a scoop and go, everybody gets one scoop of this food, and just make sure they have water. And it doesn't take any brain cells. You just have to basically go, she told me they all get one scoop of food and they keep their water full. And that's something that even somebody who does not know rabbits can do. And it's something that even my husband, who forgets things, he's got ADHD, that's, something that's lifelong, and gets exhausted just thinking about walking to the mailbox now, can do. And it's something that I can do. And I realized that I had been giving my mini Rex a standard Rex size scoop of food. And it's not bad enough that I tend to overfeed any animal, a chronic problem. But my mini Rex were turning into mini butterball turkeys, which is not healthy for them. And I wasn't able to show them. I actually missed 3 shows. The three shows that are here during the spring that are within range that I can drive to with my migraines. And I had to skip all of them because of my health. And these were all show quality mini Rex. So, with incredible reluctance, I sent the last of my mini Rex either back to their original breeder, their mama, where I know they will be wonderfully taken care of, spoiled rotten and all sorts of stuff. Pardon my shaky hands here, but I also took some of them over to Dr. Bob. That's Boots' veterinary practice. He is a veterinarian. I met him through the pigeon community. He has guinea pigs, cavies, and I know he treats rabbits at his practice, and I know he can take very good care of them. I mean, what's better than having a veterinarian as your caretaker? So he was very happy to get them, and he's probably going to be showing them. And the rest of them went to Heather, and I don't know if I have her permission to give her full name, but her name's Heather. And she's a 4-H family. She's a 4-H mom, and her son is great with rabbits. All these 4-H kids are, by the way. They're way better than me. They can pose a rabbit apparently within 5 minutes of being shown how and get the posing right, and I'm still working on it. But those have gone to her son and his mini Rex program, and they will be shown, and they will be loved, and they will be taken care of. And I know that it is the best thing for them, just like I know that it was the best thing for my pigeons to go to homes that will appreciate them and be able to let them fly and appreciate their bloodlines and their breeding and everything else. And the red French Carnots, which are a heritage breed, went back to Dr. Bob, actually, because he's responsible for keeping that heritage breed going in this part of the world. And I know that they're all better off, and I'm still very depressed. But sometimes having animals means doing something you don't want to do because it's the best thing for the animals. And in this case, the animals that I wasn't taking proper care of or wasn't able to take proper care of went to people who can. And I think I've about got the rabbit numbers stabilized. I might reduce numbers a little bit more, or I might stay about here with the flight loft being removed. And do forgive the mayhem, but this is what happens when you try to take something apart when you're not really good at it. The flight loft being removed, that's going to be a nice shady spot next to my shed. And I'm going to put some more rabbit cages in there so that I'll have places for the baby rabbits to grow out and get big enough to judge for which ones are going to show homes and which ones go elsewhere. By the way, just in case you're interested, that's a cherry bush, and that's a gumi, and that's another cherry bush. And in the planter there is good King Henry. And a lot of the rest of this is just terribly overgrown because I've been busy trying to deal with this. But that's what's going on. That's why you're not seeing any more pigeon content from me. I may occasionally post a little bit about pigeon content from other people. And you're not going to see the mini Rexes because I don't have any more. But you're definitely still going to see the standard Rexes and the New Zealands from me. And I thought that now that I was finally over COVID and well enough to talk about it without breaking down in tears, I would post what's been going on. Talk to you later.